When the 2022 Blown Delivery casting was released by the Red Wine Club earlier this year, I can't say that I found it very attractive. Then I got the idea of making a candy striper version and ordered one. And if you saw the video I did earlier, it makes a pretty nice candy striper. Once it arrived, I realized I actually liked the Blown Delivery casting, and I got the idea of making a dead sled version of it. The 2022 casting was no longer available, but I was able to pick up the previous version that you see here, which was released in 2016. If you're not familiar with the Dead Sled brand, I've put a link to their Instagram account in the comments in this video. They have fantastic images, some they've modified, of hearses. Yes, hearses. And they have a lot of great merchandise. There's no other way to describe it. You need to see it for yourself. And I have to say, I look forward to every image they release. Anyhow, on this casting, you can see it came apart pretty easily. The glass was a press fit in there. And it's clear glass, fortunately, on this. So that works out to my advantage later. I don't think that was a particularly good-looking tampo design. So I didn't mind throwing it in the stripper. Otherwise, it's a really nice-looking casting. I did not bother drilling out the engine portion because I'm not doing anything to that. So I stripped the casting, threw it in citrus strip, and it was a nice-looking casting. It cleaned up pretty well. As I recall, this was a collector's edition, is what it was called, for 2016. And so it was a special casting. Even at that, after I drill it out here, and I did end up using the 172 screw on this, not the 256, because of how that post is on the front. It's not a huge post, and it's kind of the way it fits in the firewall is, well, let's just say it's less than perfect for a 256 screw. So the 172 was better for this, and I had some handy. So at that point, once I had it tapped and a screw into it, I did need to clean up some areas on the casting, or felt I needed to. There was a little round spot in one area of metal. There was a little bit of casting lines, not bad. But if you're going to get this thing cleaned up and ready to go, you go through this anyway with it. No matter, even though I rattle can everything, and it's a pretty heavy coat of paint that goes on, I still clean them up. And so got this one ready to paint. And you can see it looks pretty good. It's not bad. I do clean it off after all of the work. I throw it in IPA. I basically dunk it in IPA. And because of the size of this casting, it's just, it's larger than your typical small 1/64. I mean, it's still 1/64 supposedly, but it's a big fat delivery. So then I hit it with Krylon Specialty Lacquer Black. And then there you see the clear I used on this Worth that Daryl Lindroth over on the Custom Diecast Renegades and Hoodlums Facebook group recommended. And it worked great. But that was after all of this. So there were 3 Dead Sled designs I wanted to put on here. One was that triangle. They're like the baby on board triangle, but for Dead Sled, theirs says body on board. And you can buy these from their merch store. They've got actual things for your car and stuff that you could do. I didn't like the look of it on this casting. And then I was going to put this little skull on the door decal. And I think and when I put this on, you'll see me do it again. I basically put it on there and I don't like it. And I think what the problem is to have them be large enough on this casting that you can read them. And at 1/64th, it's so small, at life size, they look great. But at 1/64th, they're just too damn small. So I had to make them a little bit larger than you would typically want to show all the detail because they're very detailed. And so they just looked like blobs in a way. And I thought they would detract from the overall look of the casting when they were done, particularly with how good looking the Dead Sled brand logo is. And you'll see that here in a second. These are all custom decals I made up for this build, printed with white toner. And, these aren't purchased decals. These were ones where I took their images and made them. And I love their logo. It has a very classic kind of look to it. And I thought it would look great on this casting. And so those decals went on wonderfully. I did add some detail, being the brake lights. I decided to put a Michigan Dead Sled custom license plate on the back. Because if you look closely at the sides of this when it's done, you'll see that the Hearst Drivers Union the Dead Sled represents on their logo is from Hell, Michigan. And so it needed a Hell, Michigan license plate, obviously. So I did that. And I used the matte varnish to throw it on. I believe off camera, as I recall, I do go around that with black to hide some of the metal around it once it pops through. That license plate is what holds the back of the casting together because there is only the one post at the front at the firewall. So I put that on there, and then I got another goofy idea for one other thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to... I could have put a lot of weird stuff on here. I could have put some 3D printed parts. There were some weird... I could have made it look more like a hearse, but I wanted the Dead Sled logo on the sides. So I didn't put that S-swirl, whatever you call it, I forget what the name of it is, at the back of the casting on the sides, like a typical hearse has. So this is like a large-scale body-carrying vehicle. In other words, it's not just taken one at a time. I did blacken in the exhaust pipes. Yes, there are only 5 pipes on each side. I was asked that about the original blown delivery, as to did I notice that? And I did. Did I think it was odd? Yes, because, it implies that this is a 10-cylinder engine. But here was the other odd idea. I wanted hearse curtains in the back windows. There's oval rear windows on the blown delivery. And so what I did is I went online, found actual photos of hearse curtains, just printed it out on paper, and then figured out how I wanted that to look and put that on the inside of the glass. And I used microcrystal clear to hold that in place, which microcrystal clear is a great little thing to have around. It's handy for all kinds of situations. I could have used it to attach the rear license plate really easily as well. In a way, it really does have an Elmer's glue, a PVA kind of glue feel to it, but it does dry, as they say in the name, crystal clear. So it can be used to make windows. If this didn't have glass over those rear windows, it easily could have been used, or if the glass was damaged, it easily could have been used to recreate those oval windows in the back. So there you see it. And that's after the clear coat as well on the casting. And again, that clear lacquer that was recommended to me worked out great. I had problems with the upcoming 3-blind mice build with the clear coat on that. And that's when it was recommended to me in the group. I did not use it on that build because I didn't have it at the time. Even though that build doesn't come out for a little while yet, that video is done. But I was able to use it on this, and it's the first time I've used it. So I still have some learning to do with it, but I think it turned out wonderfully, as you can kind of see in the reflection there. So It's difficult to find. I did find it on eBay. It wasn't cheap, and in fact, it's gone up something like $4 a can. Since the time I bought that can, I have purchased a second one. Right after finishing painting this, I've ordered a second can. So there you see where we started. The 2016 Collector's Edition Hot Wheels blown delivery. I did not mind throwing this casting in the stripper at all. I don't like the look of that. I mean, it's a cool looking casting, but I don't like the paint scheme. So I changed it over to the dead sled version you see here. And I like the dark, ominous look this has to it. I love their logo. I really do. What can I say? I hope they don't mind me borrowing it for this application. Um, it's a one shot. What can I say? Again, I think looking at it, you can see how adding those decals on the door and the rear lower quarter panel just would have taken from it. I do love the look on the back of those hearse curtains and the license plate. So I hope you enjoy this build as much as I do. Here's some glamour shots to get a better look at it. And be sure and check out their Instagram page. It's really a trip. It's cool. You'll have a lot of fun if you're into this kind of thing, looking at what they have. Everybody, thanks for watching these videos, and stay safe and healthy out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.